Jamie, I've been thinking about traveling more, and I realized I don't know a lot of airport vocabulary. Can you help me learn some terms?
Alex, airports can be confusing if you're not familiar with the terminology. Where do you want to start?
Maybe with the basics. What are the different areas in an airport called?
Sure thing. So, when you first arrive at an airport, you usually enter the terminal. This is the main building where passengers check in, go through security, and wait for their flights. Most airports have multiple terminals, especially larger ones.
Got it. Terminal is the main building. What about the place where I get my boarding pass?
That's called the check-in counter or check-in desk. Here, you'll present your ID and ticket, and the airline staff will give you your boarding pass. Sometimes you can also use a self-service kiosk to check in.
I've heard the term boarding pass before. What exactly is that?
A boarding pass is a document provided by the airline during check-in. It shows your seat number, boarding time, gate number, and other essential flight information. You'll need it to get through security and to board the plane.
Okay, so I have my boarding pass. What's next?
After you get your boarding pass, you head to the security checkpoint. This is where you and your luggage will be screened for any prohibited items. You'll go through a metal detector or a body scanner, and your bags will go through an X-ray machine.
What about those trays where you put your belongings?
Those are called bins or trays. You'll use them to hold your shoes, belts, electronics, and any other items that need to be screened separately.
I've always been a bit nervous about security checks. Any tips?
Just follow the instructions given by the security personnel. Make sure to have your boarding pass and ID ready. Also, be aware of the 311 rule for liquids. Each passenger is allowed to carry liquids, gels, and aerosols in 3.4-ounce containers, placed in a single 1-quart clear plastic bag.
So, after security, where do I go?
Next, you'll head to the departure area or departure lounge. This is where you'll find your gate, the specific location where you'll board your plane. Gates are usually labeled with numbers or letters, like Gate 32 or Gate B10.
What if I have some time before my flight? Can I grab a bite to eat or do some shopping?
Absolutely. Most departure areas have a variety of concessions, including restaurants, cafes, and duty-free shops. Duty-free shops sell goods without local taxes, so you can often find good deals on items like perfume, alcohol, and electronics.
What about announcements? How do I know when it's time to board?
You'll often hear PA announcements over the intercom system, which will tell you when your flight is ready to board. You can also keep an eye on the departure board or flight information display screen, which shows the status of all departing flights.
I've noticed that some people get to board before others. How does that work?
Airlines usually have a boarding process with different boarding groups or zones. Priority is often given to first class and business class passengers, frequent flyers, and those needing extra assistance, like families with young children or individuals with disabilities.
Once I get to the gate, what happens next?
At the gate, you'll find a gate agent who will scan your boarding pass before you board the plane. They'll also handle any last-minute seat changes or upgrades. Once your boarding group is called, you can proceed through the jet bridge or boarding bridge, the enclosed walkway that connects the gate to the aircraft.
What if my flight is delayed or canceled? Who do I talk to?
In that case, you should speak to the gate agent or go to the airline's customer service desk. They can help you rebook your flight, provide information on compensation, and answer any other questions you might have.
I've heard the term layover before. What does that mean?
A layover is a stop at an intermediate point between your departure and final destination. For example, if you're flying from New York to Tokyo with a layover in Los Angeles, you'll change planes or flights in Los Angeles.
What if I have a long layover? Is there anywhere I can rest?
Many airports have airport lounges, which offer comfortable seating, complimentary snacks and beverages, Wi-Fi, and sometimes even showers and nap areas. Access to these lounges can be granted through certain credit cards, frequent flyer programs, or by purchasing a day pass.
Are there any other areas in the airport I should know about?
Definitely. There's the baggage claim area, where you'll pick up your checked luggage after you arrive at your destination. If you have any checked baggage, you'll drop it off at the check-in counter and collect it from the baggage claim after your flight.
What about customs and immigration? I've heard those can be complicated.
When traveling internationally, you'll go through immigration and customs upon arrival. Immigration checks your passport and visa, ensuring you're allowed to enter the country. Customs is where you'll declare any items you're bringing into the country that may be subject to taxes or restrictions.
I see. Is there anything specific I should know about these processes?
Make sure your passport and any necessary visas are up to date. Fill out any required forms accurately. At immigration, they'll ask about your travel plans and the purpose of your visit. At customs, you'll need to declare any items that require it. Follow the signage and instructions to avoid any issues.
What if I have a connecting flight? Do I have to go through security again?
It depends. For domestic connections, you typically won't have to go through security again. For international connections, you might need to go through security and immigration again, depending on the airport and the countries involved. Always check the airport signage and ask staff if you're unsure.
What if I lose my luggage, or it gets damaged?
If your luggage is lost or damaged, report it to the airline's baggage service office or lost and found immediately. They'll give you a property irregularity report and help you track down your bag or start a claim for compensation.
That's good to know. Any final tips for navigating an airport?
Plan ahead and arrive early, typically 2 hours before a domestic flight and 3 hours before an international flight. Keep your travel documents handy, stay aware of your surroundings, and follow airport signage. And, of course, stay calm and patient. Airports can be hectic, but with a bit of preparation, you'll be just fine.
Thanks so much, Jamie. I feel a lot more confident about navigating airports now.
Anytime, Alex. Safe travels and enjoy your adventures.